Yo everyone, it's Sam here. Welcome to the very first round of the Codies League Championship from Australia. We're here on my qualifying lap, but before we get into this, I just want to say a big thank you to Codemasters, firstly for coming up with this idea. I think it's a really good idea actually, and a good way to interact with the people that play the games on a day-by-day basis and take part in these leagues. And I think this will really show off the best leagues out there and, some of the drivers as well. So yeah, thank you Sam for that. And also for selecting the Pinnacle League to be in the very first championship. I think it really shows how far Pinnacle's come, in just these last few months since it started, and it's a really great honour, I think, for the league to be in this very first championship that Codemasters are hosting. And secondly, I just want to say a big thank you to Richard, who hosts the Pinnacle League, for picking me to be one of the drivers for this. I feel really privileged to be picked to be part of this, and I do just want to say a big thank you to him for that. You can see here actually that he was having some problems connecting, and unfortunately he couldn't race as my teammate, but he did manage to spectate it, and I hope he will be able to take part in the race from now on. But he did do a live Twitter commentary on the Pinnacle League Twitter, which I noticed after the race. But we're coming to the end of my lap now. As I mentioned, every league has got their own car. We've got AOR, who are in Mercedes, TRL in Lotus, XRL in Red Bull, VRL in Ferrari, IFR in Caterham, and UTR in Sauber. And the only ones I really knew anything about were AOR and TRL, and that was how fast they were. And you can see they've locked out the front two rows to the grid here. I managed 7th, but I was only out of 8th at the time because a few of the leagues actually had trouble even qualifying. I think they had auto retires and stuff, so that was disappointing for them, but it did mean I managed to qualify in the middle of the table. I'm not sure where I would have been without it, but I was at less than 2 seconds off Noble's time, which I think was pretty incredible really. But we're away here in Australia for this first race. I get a pretty good start here. I was using curves. I got alongside the first of the UTR drivers, get alongside him, but I can't quite make them pull off the move, and I've got the Caterham, that's an IFR driver there coming alongside me into turn 3, but he can't quite get through there, so I've got the inside line, and I'm still having a look at this UTR driver in front of me as well. As you can see, the AOR and TRL drivers were already starting to pull away at the front really, and yeah, as I was saying, they're the only ones I really knew anything about, and that was just how fast they were, because I know that AOR is, I think, probably the most competitive league out there, and I have raced on from TRL before, so yeah, I did know how fast these leagues were, and I wasn't underestimating them at all, and I did expect to be quite a way off them, but I did want to at least get a decent result here, like try and get in the points, finish the race, and of course race cleanly, to show the Pinnacle League in a good light. You can see we did get a good start to this race, and you can see they're actually past a few people in pits there who pitted early, up to P5 at this point. But I've got the 2 Red Bull drivers who were the XRL drivers, and you can see Velocity's come around my outside into turn 3, and he pulls off the move there very easily, and you can see that he was actually on the prime tyres. I didn't actually notice at the time, but yeah, of course his tyres would have been in much better condition at this point, of course, because the option tyres go off pretty quickly here. As you can see, the second XRL driver getting ready past me as well, and he does get through pretty easily as well there into 6th place, so I'm back down to 7th at this point. Wasn't too worried, I was just trying to focus on my own race at this point, not trying get too caught up in battles, as I lose the back end there, as we've seen plenty of times in real F1 lately. Crossing the line to begin the 5th lap, a few more people pit, I think TRL Rosberg and Noble that was coming in, and then at the end of the 5th lap I actually stay out, but most of the guys who started on options actually pitted at this point. So you can see here as I pass everyone, I'm up in 2nd place, and who'd have thought it, Pinnacle League up in 2nd amongst all these great leagues. But at the end of the lap I do have to pit because my options are pretty much finished. It was a 2-stop, that was my default strategy, so I just decided to go with it, see if I could manage it. And of course in a race this long, you do need to just try and like drive consistently, and the start was what I was really aiming to do, and I thought if I did do that then I'd be able to pull off this 2-stop quite well. But you can see that staying up longer has cost us in the short term anyway, because we're down to 10th at this point, as Noble sets fastest lap, which is way faster than mine. But a couple of laps later I managed to, well, you're actually going to see a couple of lag problems I was having that really cost me during this middle stint, because you can see here I'm right behind Noble, but yeah, I mean, it's not him, because there's no way I'd be catching Noble, and yeah, it's actually an AI car, and it was actually really holding me up at this point, which did cost me quite a bit. And you can see one of the UTR drivers is actually catching me here, and it's really affecting my race quite a bit. And yeah, and for some reason I just can't seem to like get past them, even if it is an AI car. And of course I didn't want to just like hit it, because I mean I would get a penalty, and I think that actually happens to the other AOR driver as well. But I do actually make a bit of contact there, and the UTR driver has to barge through actually there, and that did cost me quite a lot of time really, and it was all down to just that lagging car. So that was quite unfortunate for me there, that I lost a position because of it. So yeah, going into the penultimate corner I do just lunge up the inside and manage to pass the AI car. I'm still right on the back of this UTR driver, and I'm going to have DRS here down the main straight. He goes way defensive there, going right over to the inside line. There's a yellow flag up for no reason, so I was a bit careful trying to pass him here. But yeah, he runs wide there, and I managed to cut underneath through turn 2. Then I got DRS to pull away, so I'm back up to 7th place, as there's quite a few cars starting to queue up behind us here. But I'm through up into back up to 7th at this point, so I was pretty happy. A few laps later, see on lap 13 I actually that's the second lag incident that ruins my race really. A Ferrari just puts me in the wall. I'm pretty sure that Ferrari wasn't actually there, because I mean he got a penalty for crossing the white line and everything. So yeah, that was another lag incident that really ruined my race really. And then a couple of laps later I do actually get a look at one of the IFR cars that are coming out of the pits. While they're just getting up to speed, I do use curves here and try and pass them into turn 3, but they forced me out to the outside, so I couldn't really get around them there. And of course they had fresh tyres at this point. You can see how much I was understeering with worn tyres and a damaged front wing, so I mean that it didn't go too well for me. Let's get to the next lap, where you can see a third lag incident that really ruins this middle sector, as I've got an XRL car in front of me and one right behind me, and then suddenly there's one right in front of me, and then the other one spins me out, and that really cost me quite a bit there. And again, I'm not sure if that happened to either of them on their screens, but it lost me a little bit of time, and Velocity comes back to pass me now with I'm not sure if he had DRS there, but he passed me anyway, and he's back up to 5th. I was in 6th because of various people pitting, but of course I knew I was going to drop back quite a bit when I pitted for the second and final time in this race. So we head down into turn 3 here, and we are going to skip to the end of the lap where I pit, I think. Yes we are, and yeah, here we are just heading in now. And yeah, I think I did manage to do alright, considering I had damaged front wing and a few incidents, just to make the tyres last that long. So I was quite confident of getting to the end on another set of prime tyres here. But of course I lost quite a lot of time at this point, and I think that middle stint, it was a shame really, because I think I could have done a little bit better in the race, if my result, if it hadn't been for those few incidents. You can see here I'm down to 12th place, which was actually last at this point, which was a shame, but there's plenty of time to make up some positions. Of course you can see here a couple of laps later I've actually caught back up to the Caterham of Sidonian Paul, who's an IFR driver, and yeah, I'm lining them up here. I've got DRS down the main straight he had good straight line speed there actually. I don't think mine was that great. So we break into turn 1, I try and go to the outside, but it doesn't really work for me once again, and I lose a bit of time there, but I got DRS so I can just catch him straight back up again as we head down to turn 3. But yeah, I wasn't going to be able to pass him there, of course, but it did give me a chance to catch right back up to him as we head through these through this first sector now, just looking for anywhere that I might be able to make a move, because my tyres were still pretty good at this point, and I thought I might as well just make the most of them while I could, because, you know, there's no more pit stops, so I might as well go for what I can, really. So I go to the outside into this corner, but I brake way too late and I run wide, and that really does cost me the time that I had had to make up. But he does actually pit for what must have been his third stop in this race, and what was the final time for him. So I do make up that position at least, and one of the UTR drivers pits as well, so I actually get into the points at this point. So I was hoping that, you know, with no pit stops left, that I would be able to stay in the points, but of course there were going to be people with fresher tyres behind me. So we pass one of the other UTR cars there on the next lap when they pit, and I'm up to 9th at this point. Then a couple of laps later, the I think, yeah, it's an XRL driver that pits, and I move up into 8th place. Then another couple of laps later, I passed a Ferrari just coming out of the pits, dramatic Naven of VRL, and I was up to 7th at this point with 5 laps to go. But of course, the guys behind me did have fresh tyres, so I would struggle to hold on to those positions. You can see here later on in the lap, dramatic Naven gets past before I've even thought about trying to defend him, and he's up into 7th place, and I'm down to 8th with 4.5 laps to go. Then on the next lap, Sean from XRL is lining me up here into turn 9. Of course, I've already tried to move here and it didn't really work, and we go in, there's a little bit of contact, but I do manage to hang on to the car and the position, so that was good for me there. But my tyres were pretty old at this point. I've been on them nearly 10 laps, and he just managed to drive around the outside, and there's that very fast 11-12 chicane, and I'm through he's through, and into 8th place. And I did think I might be able to hang on to 9th. You know, I did have a little bit of a gap to the UTR1 car, but yeah, on the last lap he did manage to catch me, and he does manage to get around the outside there into the 11-12 chicane. So it was a bit unfortunate to lose that position that close to the end, but you know, we were well on course for a points finish here. And in the end, I did really, you know, achieve the targets I set for myself, which was to, you know, not be last, not cause any incidents, and don't be lapped. Because to be honest, all I wanted to do really was show the Pinnacle League in a good light. I didn't want it to get shown up too badly and light in front of all these other great leagues. And I think that, you know, I did do an alright job in the end. I mean, of course, I was never going to be as fast as like some of these other drivers, and it was a shame that Richard wasn't able to take part, because I think he would have probably beaten me here. But yeah, I was fairly happy overall with how it went. I mean, felt very privileged to be a part of it, actually. And I don't know if we're going to rotate our drivers here in Pinnacle, but even if we do, then it's been great just to be in this warm race. But if I do take part in all the races, then that'll be a great honour for me. But yeah, that's it for this first round. If you enjoyed it, then leave a like, and I will see you hopefully for the next race. Goodbye.